Have you ever wondered why some stories about the recent past feel so real, so unforgettable? Well, it turns out it's not just random chance. There's actually a recipe, a kind of formula for taking old objects and forgotten memories and turning them into these modern-day legends. So let's dive in and break down that formula, piece by piece. Every great story needs a hook, right? A mystery you just can't walk away from. And this one? It all starts with something somebody found in a thrift store bargain bin. I mean, come on. This sentence, handwritten on a dusty old VHS tape, that's not a warning, is it? That is an invitation. It's a dare from the past, basically promising a story that someone, somewhere, desperately wanted to keep under wraps. You have to know what's on it. But here's the thing. As captivating as that one tape is, it's actually part of a much bigger pattern. These stories about old tech and forgotten rules, they aren't just happy accidents. They are built step by step, following a very specific and really powerful structure. So how do you build a modern legend? Well, it turns out there's a recipe for that. Let's walk through the 5 key ingredients for cooking up one of these unforgettable stories from, the scraps of the recent past. It's surprisingly simple, really. First, you start with an old object, like our VHS tape. Then, you add that one mysterious sentence, like "do not watch." Step 3, you have to explain the lost world it came from and all its unwritten rules. Then, you escalate a small, funny event into a full-blown legend. And finally, you wrap it all up with a moral, a memorable takeaway. Those are the 5 steps to turning a simple memory into a myth. All right, let's break this down, starting with ingredient number 1, the artifact. Every single one of these stories kicks off with a physical object, a piece of technology that's now pretty much completely obsolete. And you really have to think about what these things were. A VHS tape wasn't just a piece of plastic. It was your portal to Hollywood. A phone book wasn't just a stack of paper. It was literally a directory of every single person in your town. These artifacts weren't just tools. They were the entire infrastructure of our social world. This slide just puts it perfectly. The phone book was the original search engine, and it came with 0 privacy settings. The phone company would just drop this database of everyone you knew right on your doorstep and basically say, "Here you go, here's everybody, try not to be weird." And that's really the key difference, isn't it? Back then, privacy wasn't a setting you had to manage. It was just this social agreement not to get on each other's nerves. The contract was simple. If someone could find your number, they could call your house. Your only real defense was to just try and be a decent human being. Okay, so you have the artifact. The second ingredient is just as important. The unwritten social rules that went along with it. The codes of conduct that everyone just kind of knew, which governed how you interacted with the tech and, more importantly, with each other. I mean, be kind, rewind, that wasn't just a sticker, was it? That was a moral law. The neighborhood wave wasn't just a casual greeting. It was like a tiny peace treaty you renewed every single day. These weren't just habits. They were the invisible threads holding the whole social fabric together. And when those rules were broken, oh man, that's where you get the drama. This little note, found penciled into an old phone book, is another one of those perfect mystery sentences. Because let's be honest, in the suburbs, a potluck is never just about the food. It's about reputation. And claiming a frozen lasagna as your own, well, that's not just a fib, that's politics. The accusation was devastating. A child saw the box. Game over, right? But the defense? The defense was a work of art. She didn't make it, she assembled it. A sentence that could only exist in that beautiful, beautiful gray area between the truth and pure social survival. And this kind of linguistic gymnastics, it leads us to how these things escalate into legends. This quote is an all-time great excuse. It's from a video store customer who rented Titanic and recorded over it with a home movie. Instead of just admitting it, they just adjusted the timeline of maritime history. This directness was everything. When a rule got broken, you dealt with it personally, not digitally. You couldn't hide behind a screen. Case in point, a neighborhood watch coordinator got so concerned about local issues that he created a list of courtesy calls to correct his neighbor's behavior, for everything from dogs barking to not waving enough. And that led to this legendary ice-cold shutdown. After getting a courtesy call complaining that he wasn't waving enough, one man delivered this incredible line, followed by what you can only describe as an artisanal threat to go wave in the caller's face until he cried. And just like that, The era of courtesy calls was over. So, okay, we've got the object, the rules, and the legends that pop up when those rules get broken. But this all leads to the moral of the story. Why does this formula still resonate so deeply with us? What's the magic here that makes these stories stick? Well, the power of this formula is that it performs a kind of alchemy. It takes a mundane, forgotten thing, a phone book, a VHS tape, and it transforms it. It's not just a piece of plastic or paper anymore. It becomes a vessel, a container for an entire lost social world. This slide just captures the whole idea perfectly. The kid who recorded over Titanic didn't mean to create a historical document of his summer in 1997, but he did. The neighborhood watch guy didn't set out to create a legend of suburban warfare, but he absolutely did. They accidentally turned junk into a time machine. And that really leaves us with one last thought. Just look around you for a second. Your smartphone, your wireless earbuds, maybe that smart speaker in the corner. Right now, they're just tech. But one day, they're gonna be artifacts. And the unwritten rules we're all following to use them today, those are gonna be the foundation for the legends